accidents, storms, alarming disappearances. Each year, 6,000 people seek assistance at sea off the French coast.
Hold on to me. Hold on.
To come to their aid, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whatever the conditions, volunteer lifeguards at the SNSM are ready to move into action.
To be a lifeguard takes passion, the passion to go and help others. It is a complex and dangerous environment.
Present along all 19,000 kilometers of the French coast, these are the people who risk everything to bring emergency first aid.
Is your foot injured?
And they bring the injured and the shipwrecked to shore.
Will it take long?
No, you'll see, everything will be fine.
It makes you realize you have to be in peak physical condition.
Exploding engines, boats sinking into the depths, yachts foundering on rocks. Thanks to their know-how, their equipment, and a fleet of 600 lifeboats, they are able to handle any emergency at sea.
The dangers are everywhere, all the time. You need to think ahead and be aware of sea conditions at all times.
Dive into the heart of all these dangers with these heroes of the sea. In this episode, the rescue team at Cap d'Agde will need all its ingenuity to retrieve a sailboat's broken mast from the water, a very rare technical intervention.
1, 2, 3!
In Quiberon, 3 rescuers will manually refloat a semi-rigid boat stuck on a sandbank with 1 person aboard.
Go further that way, Patrick.
The rescue station at Cannes will carry out a helicopter hoist exercise in the middle of the night with no lighting.
Aft starboard, 200 meters.
This in coordination with a Navy helicopter, a high-risk training exercise. The rescue team at Cap d'Agde will assist a pleasure craft with engine trouble, with 6 people aboard, including a young woman close to fainting, who needs to be brought to shore urgently.
Let me see your finger, please.
And lastly, the rescue station at Saint Jean de Luz will assist a holidaymaker whose anchor cable has caught in the propeller.
When you're ready, you can go.
The boat is close to a swimming zone, and the situation is urgent. Alert signal in the Mediterranean close to the cliffs of Cap d'Agde. A 10.5-meter sailboat has lost its mast.
Crossmed for SNS 211. Over.
You're on call for a dismasted sailboat in the Cap d'Agde sector with 2 persons on board, which is drifting towards the coast. Message received?
Received, Crossmed. Clearance 77.
Each rescue station operates under the authority of CROSS, the French Regional Rescue and Surveillance Operational Center, which receives distress calls, which it passes to lifeguards in the relevant zone. For this rescue station, after motorboats and leisure craft, sailboats are the 3rd most frequent distress call. Being called out to a sailboat with a broken mast is very rare, and only happens once every 2 years at Cap d'Agde.
SNS 211 for radio check. My name is Jean-Pierre Boyer, I'm 33 years old, and I'm a rescue specialist. We set off immediately with the lifeboat.
9 lifeguards are aboard the Class 2 lifeboat which heads towards the zone, despite having no precise GPS coordinates.
It apparently anchored between the island and the harbor entrance.
No visible boat here.
Yes, 411.
Change channels, 73.
Roger.
The search can take a great deal longer when you have no precise coordinates, because at sea, as soon as you're slightly offshore, you lose your bearings and have difficulty evaluating distance, even in relation to dry land.
Localizing the boat is difficult. Today, surface visibility is reasonable. Horizon clarity is weak. A southwesterly wind at 40 kilometers per hour is creating 2 meters of high swell.
Is that it over there? Hang on, I think I see something near the divers.
After a 20-minute search, the lifeguards finally spot the zone.
My name is Sylvain Perret. I'm the lifeboat's first commander. As we arrived, we could see it was a relatively new boat which had demasted, meaning that one of the cables, called the shrouds, had given way, causing the mast to fall on the side of the boat.
The 150-kilo mast is submerged on the starboard side of the boat and is knocking against the hull. With the force of the waves and current, it could easily pierce a hole and cause the sailboat to sink.
Let's go.
Swift action is necessary.
Inflatable launched.
The situation was quite risky, and it was urgent to get the boat and its occupants out of danger.
Are you all right, gentlemen?
Yes.
Hello, let me explain. First, we're going to get you to safety on the lifeboat. When we boarded the boat, there were no injured. That was the important thing because grave injuries can obviously result from a mast falling. So we quickly took them off the boat and put them safely on the lifeboat. Nick, hold on there. Take hold, Ted.
Careful, careful, wait a moment.
All right, Nick, help the gentleman. Okay. Come back and fetch the tools afterwards, all right? We decided to save the material for several reasons. Firstly, for ecological reasons. We wanted to avoid leaving hundreds of kilos of metalwork at the bottom of the water, because that can represent a danger to navigation. Next, when we carry out a mission, we have a contractual engagement with the client to leave their equipment in the best possible condition. On the boat, I noticed quite a few things had been affected and were blocked, including the gooseneck.
The gooseneck is what joins the boom to the mast on a sailboat.
It was essential to release the gooseneck if we were to get the mast back on board.
The objective is to disconnect the boom from the mast in order to retrieve the sail and manipulate the mast more easily.
What we need, guys, is to see if we can lift it a bit higher. But I'm not sure if it's possible. So make sure you don't hurt yourselves. The major risk with this sort of procedure is the movement of the mast, because the mast is laying across the boat, and the boat is subjected to the waves. So the mast and the boat are moving independently of each other. So a hand can easily get crushed, or a piece of metal can hit your head. You have to watch out for the movement of the mast. The gooseneck is blocked. I said the gooseneck is blocked.
This isn't easy.
No, it's not easy. Damn. It was essential to release the gooseneck in order to detach the sail. In any case, towing or even moving the boat with this part of the equipment submerged was unthinkable.
So the lifeguard has no choice. He struggles for 35 minutes to achieve his goal.
Try pulling the boom. Try pulling the boom while I remove... That's it, guys. Nick, is it loosening? That's it. The boom's free. We can lift it into the middle of the boat.
Now that the boom is no longer an obstacle, the sail needs to be lifted.
Pull it backwards. 1, 2, 3. The mainsail is completely trapped. The mainsail is blocked because it's twisted up in different bits of cable. We'll have to find a way of lifting the mast as it is. SNS 2-1, it's JP.
Yes, JP, over.
In terms of the mainsail, I think it's completely blocked. We've loosened all the halyards and such, but there's no way of releasing it. So I think the first thing is to nonetheless try getting a rope around the second masthead.
Okay, Roger. Jean-Pierre, this might interest you. There are some fire brigade divers willing to help. Perhaps they could take a look and attach a cable to help you out, don't you think?
Yes, yep, absolutely yes. Luckily, there were some fire brigade divers training nearby, and they spontaneously came over to offer us some help. The idea is, we have the genoa and the stay, which are at the bottom with the furler, so they're blocked. I was intending to try lifting everything by the bow, but it could be interesting to see what it looks like from underwater, to find out if everything is twisted up with the mast.
This cable is one of the stays. It is trapping the genoa underwater. The genoa is a small 1.5-meter sail which hangs perpendicular to the mast. This is what is preventing the team from raising the mast.
Shit. God, there are a lot of waves. Try to help him out. That's it. It's done. The stay's unfastened.
I suggest you try attaching the end of the genoa or the furler. And bring it over to the 211. It will be much easier lifting the genoa onto the 211.
Okay, understood. Ted will bring it over with the inflatable.
The lifeboat easily salvages the small sail. All that's left is to raise the mast with the cables.
We're good.
We're good.
Bring it over to the winch on Victor's side, towards the aft. I hope it's long enough. Can you push it a bit? So I can try to put it here? Yeah, just a bit more. Okay. It took us 2.5 hours to partially raise the mast. We couldn't get it completely out of the water. So we decided to attach it as firmly as possible to the boat, protecting the hull with the buoys, and then we'd bring the boat back to the harbor with the mast fixed to the side. That was tough. That evening had quite an effect because it was very tiring physically. It wasn't easy. You realize you have limits. At the same time, it was satisfying to nonetheless get it back to harbor. I think it was a successful mission for the whole crew.
Alert at sea at Quiberon in Brittany. A semi-rigid boat with engine failure has drifted onto a sandbank with one person aboard.
Towing assistance requested by a semi-rigid boat with engine failure in order to return to Port Aligan.
3 lifeguards from the station take to the sea and head for the zone where the boat is stranded on a sandbank. The rugged Quiberon coast stretches over 8 kilometers and includes no less than 6 zones in which navigation is prohibited due to the shallow waters and hidden sandbanks. The rescue team takes the station's semi-rigid boat, a 230 horsepower vessel which can travel at up to 40 knots.
That them?
No! My name is Lavallée Sonny. I'm a rescue swimmer. I was called at 10:30 for an inflatable boat stranded with the rising tide. The simplest way of getting there was with the inflatable.
They're stuck in the sandbank.
So we went to the zone and found the inflatable partly beached.
The beached semi-rigid boat is surrounded by rocks. The skipper suffered engine failure close to a rocky danger zone and drifted onto a sandbank.
Hold on, be careful. It's not deep.
Go towards the bow.
Can you drop me on the bow?
Impossible for the lifeguard's boat to get closer than 50 meters without risking foundering in the shallows themselves.
Go and see him. Go and see him.
The first commander told Patrick and myself to swim over to it.
The two rescue swimmers who take to the water have the correct equipment: a thermal wetsuit, a life jacket, a VHF radio, a GPS watch, a flashlight with fluorescent dye markers, and a hard hat.
Hello? Are you all right?
Yes.
How much does it weigh?
Sorry?
How much does it weigh?
750 kilos.
With 750 kilos stranded on the sand, it's impossible for the skipper to free himself unassisted.
It seems to be partially afloat. We'll try towing it off.
Yes, but by the stern?
No, by the bow.
My name is Patrick. I'm 66 years of age. I'm a rescue swimmer. We started towing the inflatable from the port side to refloat it.
To avoid material damage to his boat, the skipper raises the engine. In order for the vessel to be taken in tow, it needs to pass a rocky zone, so it's going to be pulled by hand.
Go on. Go on, guys.
We good?
We managed to drag the inflatable off the sandbank and refloat it.
With the boat no longer on the sand, the engine can be put back in the water for a test start.
We should be able to get away now. Try starting her up. Stop, stop. Go on. Won't start? Okay, raise the engine.
We'll try with both of us.
To get back to the harbor, there is no other solution for the semi-rigid boat with engine failure. The two crew members pull it as close as possible to their own boat in order to attach the tow ropes.
They could collide like that.
Is that all right?
Yes.
Further that way, Patrick.
This is when you realize that physical condition is all important for a rescue swimmer.
The distressed vessel is close enough to the rescue boat to attach the tow ropes.
Climb on with him, Sonny. Climb on with him. I'll retrieve you afterwards. Sonny? The tow line.
Okay.
We fastened the ropes, then towed the inflatable to Port Aligan.
Saint Julien to 712, informing you that we're towing the inflatable back to Port Aligan.
Understood. Bring it back to harbor.
The operation has lasted 20 minutes. Mission accomplished.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
We were happy with the job. It's always encouraging when the person is reassured and the operation goes well. There were no breakages, and the skipper retrieved his equipment.
Tonight at Cannes, on the Côte d'Azur, the lifeguard station has called in the Army for a helicopter training exercise.
Crossmed, Crossmed, SNS 262.
262 for cross.
Yes, good evening, everyone. SNS 262 lifeboat from the old port of Gouix for a helicopter hoist exercise. My name is Didier, and I'm second commander on the SNS 262 lifeboat at the Cannes Gouix station. That evening, we took part in a nighttime helicopter hoist exercise. We were a crew of 5.
Helicopter hoisting involves transporting a load or a person by means of a hoist carried by a helicopter. The station at Cannes carries out monthly training exercises in coordination with the Army or fire services. High-risk interventions are simulated, in which each participant has a precise place and function to fill.
There'll be 2 of you on deck. When the helicopter arrives, you stand here, protected. You don't touch anything. You wait for the rescue swimmer to be lowered. Above all, don't try to catch him. Whatever you do, don't touch the cable. It's charged with static electricity. You're in danger of getting a shock. Whoever's closest to the cabin announces helicopter at 200 meters, helicopter at 100 meters, helicopter at 50 meters, because we see nothing from inside.
For sure.
You inform us of the helicopter's arrival, angle of approach, the diver being lowered. I'm Jean-François Léonard. The commander called us together for a briefing, the planning of the mission. The boss reminded each of us of our task aboard the lifeboat.
The exercise has to be carried out in real-life conditions. The Navy authorizes no interior or exterior lighting of the Class 1 lifeboat.
Warning lights extinguished.
The crew sets out in total darkness.
Why at night? Because that's when it's most difficult for helicopter pilots to get their bearings. Try to stay on course for 290, 30 degrees into the wind, and with speed between 5 and 10 knots. We need to hold a constant course and speed so that the helicopter can position itself above us for the hoisting.
Tell us when the helicopter approaches. Close the door.
Yes, go on.
Helicopter approaching.
Our starboard 400 meters.
We indicate the approach of the helicopter relative to the lifeboat, because those inside can't see what's happening outside. So the aft crew members communicate what's happening on the afterdeck of the lifeboat. Helicopter 200 meters, okay?
200, okay.
Okay.
As the helicopter gradually approached the lifeboat, announcements were given. 50 meters, 40 meters, 30 meters, 10 meters overhead. Hold your course.
Helicopter in place.
Helicopter in place, hold your course.
The helicopter takes up position less than 10 meters above the lifeboat.
10 meters overhead is very close. It's very impressive. The noise of the blades is very loud. You're doused in the spray which is thrown up. Everyone has to stay focused on carrying out their task. Stay between 5 and 10 knots.
Diver being lowered.
The Navy diver is quickly hoisted down to the stern of the boat. At this precise moment in the operation, the crew needs to be extremely vigilant in terms of positioning.
Security regulations are very strict at the stern of the vessel. As of the moment when the diver descends from the helicopter, it's very important not to grab the cable coming from the helicopter, which could give off an electrical discharge. It's a wet environment, so electrical shocks can be severe and cause burns. In particular, shocks can affect the heart.
If one of the crew brushes against the cable, they could receive a 420-volt shock.
Diver aboard.
The Navy diver is on board. If this were not an exercise, he would need to be put in position and quickly taken to hospital. So a stretcher would need to be hoisted.
Cable being lowered. Cable aboard. Stretcher being lowered.
The stretcher is zip-lined down to the lifeboat.
Stretcher aboard. Helicopter leaving the zone.
Once the stretcher was on board, the helicopter pulled away, then came back again to retrieve it. We had to hold our course and speed. First passage, you retrieve the stretcher. Second passage, retrieve the diver. Message received.
The commander of the lifeboat is in VHF communication with the helicopter pilot, who needs to retrieve the stretcher, then the Navy diver.
Helicopter stationary at the stern.
Okay, understood.
The helicopter started hoisting the stretcher until it reached their level.
Hoisting! Stretcher hoisted.
It's going to circle, then come back for the second approach.
Yes.
The divers asked me to hook him up.
Right. You hold on tight.
Yeah, of course.
The Navy diver is going to be hoisted with help from the onboard navigator. The lifeboat is steady at 5 knots. There's a slight swell with 1 meter waves. Everyone's position needs to be carefully prepared.
So the next part of the operation is to get yourself into position so that if there's a problem, then you can immediately head for the bow or to port side.
Right.
If when I'm hooked up and lifted, I swing forward or to the side, you mustn't be in the danger zone.
Go behind.
So it's best to grab the cable with the hook, attach me, then give the signal to lift. But most importantly, don't stay too close to me. If you get caught, you're in danger of going overboard.
The 2 men have to avoid mistakes because they could easily end up in the water and hit the side of the lifeboat.
Cable aboard!
The helicopter drops the hoist cable.
At the moment of hoisting, I received a blow from the diver's foot as he went up.
Thanks to the safety helmet, the blow caused no damage. The crew member took some serious risks during the exercise.
The danger was that Jean-François could have been knocked into the water. There was a danger of man overboard.
Divers, grab the rope!
The Navy helicopter retrieves its diver and heads back to base. The exercise is over.
Thanks for your cooperation. And get back safely.
As lifeguards, we have to be permanently in training because we are not professionals and we need exercise after exercise after exercise. So that as volunteers, we can save people when the real thing happens.
Alert at sea in the Hérault region at Cap d'Agde, 600 meters from harbor. Engine failure on a boat carrying 6 people, including 1 child.
Crossmed, 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 this is SNS 211.
SNS 211 from Cross, contacting you for towing assistance for a 6-meter vessel with 6 persons aboard. Over.
Message received, over.
Regis, you can go and get kitted. We're launching.
Within a few minutes, the Class 2 lifeboat reaches the zone at 25 knots, maximum speed.
My name is Serge Gadi. I'm a rescue swimmer. It was the beginning of the evening. There were a few boats at sea. We quickly spotted a stationary boat at the harbor entrance at Cap d'Agde.
The boat has engine failure, which is the primary cause of towing operations carried out by lifeguards.
Okay, go! My name is Teddy Perret. I'm 29 years of age, and I'm second in command. Engine failure is one of the most common interventions for us, which entails towing people safely back to harbor. Hello? Go on, go on, go on. Do you have enough life jackets for everyone on board?
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, are you all right?
She's not well.
No, I'm not well.
Are you all right or not? We realized that one of the people was really not well. Has she been drinking alcohol?
No, but she's sick.
Is it just seasickness?
Yes.
For the station at Cap d'Agde, 1 operation out of 5 involves someone suffering from seasickness, regardless of season or weather conditions.
Stand up. Can you stand up?
Yes.
Hold on to me. Hold on to me. Hold on tight. That's it. That's it. Gently. The boat was drifting along with the current, gently bobbing around in a slight swell. That can cause seasickness, but also result in fainting.
I think it would be wise for you to open your eyes, because it's precisely having your eyes closed which makes you feel seasick. Once we get you on board the lifeboat, you'll feel much more comfortable. Okay? Can you hear what I'm saying, ma'am? The lady seemed very weak. Seasickness might entail vomiting, but it can also involve feeling flushed, nausea, loss of balance. So it's extremely uncomfortable for those suffering from it. 211 for distress vessel.
Receiving you.
We have someone who is quite weak, who is having trouble replying. Could we have a first aid kit, please?
Okay, we'll get that to you.
We decided to ask the 211 to send the essentials for a medical checkup.
Back it up, Regis.
Ma'am, come and lay down here. Do you have a life jacket or something to put under her head, please? Come with me, ma'am. Lay down here. Are you all right? Are you thirsty or hungry? No? Show me your finger, please, ma'am. That's it, don't move. This woman needed to be watched to be sure that there was nothing else hidden behind her seasickness. We checked on vital signs, oxygen saturation, heart rate, blood pressure. You have the heart of an athlete. 211 for distress vessel.
Receiving you.
We have a pulse rate of 74 and oxygen saturation at 98, with blood pressure at 11.7. So I think these results are reasonable. I think it would be wise to get her ashore first at Cap d'Agde and then tow the boat to Gouix.
Okay. What we're going to do first is transfer the lady to the lifeboat to take her ashore.
Okay, got it. Ma'am, we're going to transfer you to the lifeboat. You'll be more comfortable there. You'll be able to sit up. Do you think you'll be able to stand?
Yes, I'm all right.
Yes? Feeling better? Good. Are you cold? Have a look in the blue bag. There should be a survival blanket.
After nausea and ringing ears, feeling cold is one of the regular symptoms of seasickness.
We had to warm her up, so we had to transfer her to the warmth and safety of the lifeboat.
Try standing, ma'am. Gently, gently does it. All right, ma'am. Pairing up. We're not hurting you, right? A last little effort and we're there.
The operation is delicate. The victim can hardly stand on her feet, and the lifeguards have to be very careful.
3 of us worked together. Serge and I took hold of her and helped her to change boats. Give your hand to my colleague. Give your hand to my colleague.
Here, ma'am, there you go. Let's go.
René was ready to help her onto the lifeboat, then sit her down comfortably inside where it was warm. Come on, let's go.
Let's go.
Serge and I stayed on the stranded vessel, while our colleagues on the 211 took the person back to dry land.
While waiting for the lifeboat to return, the 2 lifeguards stay on the boat in distress, taking care of the others.
Come here, I'll put your life jacket on properly. Come on. That way you won't be in danger.
I'm wet.
Look at this.
Wow.
Wow. Don't turn your head too much. Just a little bit.
Within 30 minutes, the young woman is back at the harbor, where she remains under observation at the station until her seasickness passes. The crew need to get back to the zone urgently so that towing can be organized. It is 7:45 p.m., night is falling, and a stricken boat is a danger to navigation. There could be a collision.
Teddy for 211, Teddy.
Yes, receiving you 211.
Updating you on our situation. We left a lady on our premises. We left Renee and Remy with her. We are on our way back to you to begin towing.
Yes, affirmative. Everything is ready. We await you for towing.
The lifeboat is back in the zone. In the darkness, they pass the tow line to the lifeguard on board, who carefully attaches it to the cleats at the bow of the boat.
A little more to starboard. It's okay, yes? 211 for distress vessel. Tow line okay.
Okay, message received. Heading for Cap d'Agde.
We took the boat back, chatting with the occupants on the way. Everything went well. All right, princess?
Go on, you drive.
It's straight ahead. The operation lasted 2.5 hours, and we brought everyone home safely. (211) for distress vessel.
211 receiving you.
I'm releasing the starboard tow line so you can moor up easily.
Message received.
In the meantime, on land, the lady with seasickness is feeling better. Mission accomplished.
How are you? Feeling better?
Yes, great.
I looked at that person, who I'd held almost lifeless in my arms a few hours earlier, who had got her smile and vitality back. That's all the reward I needed.
Alert at sea in the Basque Country at Saint Jean de Luz, a 12-meter-long pleasure craft has its anchor line caught in the propeller.
Cross-Etel calling. I've received a call from a boat near the Quatre Chevaux, very close to the coast. They have a propeller problem and would like assistance and divers to free it.
Message received. We're on our way.
My name is Jean-François Boudot. I'm 41 years of age, and I'm a rescue swimmer and also a diver. When the alarm sounded, it was 6 o'clock and we set off. Once on board, we received information from Cross, including the GPS coordinates. The commander told us to go and get changed, and we left with 2 divers.
%70 of lifeguard interventions are carried out during the summer season because inexperienced holidaymakers and tourists often need more assistance than sailors and fishermen during the rest of the year. Today, the pleasure craft in difficulty is near the harbor entrance. While mooring, the skipper released too much rope, and it became caught in the propeller.
My name is Didier Oza. I'm second commander. So this pleasure craft was moored up to a mooring buoy. This sort of floating buoy is attached to a weight on the seabed, and passing boats can moor up to it. While trying to maneuver, the mooring line of the boat had become caught in the propeller.
The boat is immobilized just behind the nets of the bathing zone. Its position is dangerous.
We're going to pass you a mooring rope. Moor up to the post over there to avoid going into the netting.
By the stern?
Yes, the stern.
The first thing was to ensure that the engines were turned off. Otherwise, it would be dangerous to dive beneath the boat. We had to verify that the engines were really cut.
Is everything turned off?
Yes.
Right, we're sending the divers.
The 2 crew members who dive are trained in handling propellers underwater. Even with the engine turned off, extreme caution is necessary.
We got in the water and went down to look at the extent of the damage.
The starboard propeller is jammed. The mooring line from the boat to the anchor is completely twisted around the propeller.
The cross-section of the rope was at least 5 or 6 centimeters. We could have just simply cut it, but we wanted to see if there was another possibility which suited everyone better.
When lifeguards help someone in distress, they sign a contract stipulating that they will do their best to save the equipment. In this case, if they cut the mooring line, the owner will return to harbor without his anchor and will need to spend several hundred euros on a new one.
The mooring line was twisted 2 or 3 times around the propeller. Precaution was needed because there was some swell, there was a bit of current, and we needed to work in safety.
The 2 divers need to use physical strength to untangle ropes. And the ever-increasing swell doesn't make things any easier.
We really took our time trying to release it. What with the swell, it was really quite difficult.
They need to be careful where they place themselves, because they could easily hurt themselves on the hull of the boat.
Accidents happen. You have to be very, very watchful, both for yourself and your colleagues.
To reduce the risks, the 2 divers communicate with each other during the whole operation.
We talk underwater. Are you all right? I'm cold. Things like that. Or, we'll have to cut it. Let's surface. Let's go deeper. There are lots of little signals like that which allow you to communicate rapidly and, above all, efficiently.
After several different attempts to release the propeller, the 2 divers achieve their objective.
It must have taken 10 or 15 minutes of physical force with my colleague in order to avoid cutting the mooring line or damaging the equipment. I think in the end it was a successful operation.
Is it done? Do you need to cut it again?
No.
Perfect. Climb on board.
The contract with the boat owner is respected. The lifeguards have saved the equipment. There will be no additional expenses.
Good. Have you started it?
Yes.
Right. You're free to go.
Thank you.
The boat was free again. When we surfaced, everyone was happy. They thought things would be worse. That's what our work's about, freedom of movement.
Seasickness, broken masts, beached semi-rigid boats or jammed propellers. Whatever the conditions or the type of intervention, lifeguards never give up and always carry their mission through to the end.